what's up? What's up? Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back. This is going to be the long promised video, how I water my orchids. I promised this video probably about 3-4 months ago, and I mentioned that in my last video as well. So I thought, you know what, I'll just do it and I'll show you what I do. So I mentioned in a previous video, but that it usually takes me about 10-15 minutes to water my orchids, and usually during the weekend I take my time, you know, and I would mix up the fertilizer and you know, measure TDS and pH, and you know, I just kind of take my time because I have, you know, I don't have to rush anywhere. I want to kind of take good care of my orchids. I usually spend a bit more time with them, just kind of looking them over, checking out new growths or any spikes and things like that. So it takes me longer, but not because it's not because of the watering. It's just more because I'm just want to spend more time with my orchids. But then during the week I don't have much time, so all I'll do is I will take my sprayer, I'll fill it up with water, and you know, if there was any water left here from the weekend, there might be some fertilizer in here, so it'll be a very diluted fertilizer left in the sprayer, and I just fill it up, go around my orchids, you know, check who needs water, who doesn't need water, and just get them watered pretty quickly. So that's a 10-minute job. And then on weekends, you know, it could take me maybe 20 minutes if I don't go over my orchids to kind of look at them, if that makes sense. So let's just look at this closer, what I do, how I do it, and I hope that's useful for you. You know, when I started growing your orchids, it used to take me a long time to water my orchids. I used to take them all to the sink in the kitchen and, you know, run water through them, or, you know, prepare a lot of fertilizer and then, you know, water my orchids, and then I would have to let them drip. And then, you know, once they're kind of dried up, then I would put them back in the pots, take them all back to the shelves, place them all on the shelves. It was honestly, you know, would take me an hour and a half, sometimes 2 hours to do it. And soon I realized, you know, it's such a chore. I can't spend so much time every single weekend on them, and I switched to this, and it's so quick, and you know, I think my orchids love it. You know, I don't see any decline in my orchids or any kind of signs that this is not good for them or that they don't like it. So I hope that's going to be useful for you, and feel free to drop me any questions in the comment section below if you have any questions, or if you want to, you know, want me to clarify something, or you know, just general comments are nice as well. So feel free to go and do that as well. So yeah, let's just jump right in then. Alrighty guys, so the first thing I do is I currently use tap water, and this is my tap water in here. What I normally do is I would basically fill up my bucket. This is I think it's maybe 6 or 7 liters in this bucket. I would fill it up usually a couple days before, and I fill it up with ice cold water because I think it has lower TDS. And the reason for that is, you know, the hot water comes from, you know, through different pipes. It's all kind of heated and all that stuff. So I think that, you know, it just brings in more kind of TDS or more parts per million than ice cold water. But I would bring it in, you know, I would fill this bucket a couple days in advance, and then I leave it at least overnight open so that all kind of chlorine can evaporate, and also it warms up in the room temperature, and then I can use it. So if I check my water right now, it says it's 62 parts per million, and as you can see, it kind of starts dropping a little bit. So it's about 60 parts per million. That's my kind of baseline, and I think that's pretty good, you know. I don't mind having a bit of TDS, parts per million in my tap water. So then what I'll do is I take my sprayer and I just take the water with my jug from this bucket and it goes into the sprayer. And I would fill it up. So this sprayer here is 2 liters. So it's not very big, you know, you can obviously get bigger ones as well. And you can have them with extended nozzles and stuff like that. My collection is pretty small, so I'm okay with this. So this is now basically filled up to here. I don't know if you can see on the camera, but it's somewhere around here. Now what I'll do, I'll add some fertilizer. So this is my rain mix. I keep it in smaller kind of container like that because otherwise it just absorbs moisture. Even though it is a sealed container, it still absorbs moisture, which really annoys me. So I try and keep a little bit here, and then I would, you know, fill it up whenever I need to with the fresh fertilizer. So I've got this spoon here. This is 1 milliliter spoon, and I take around, let me just double check, is it? Yeah, it's 1 milliliter. And I would take about this much. So this is not a full spoon, yeah, maybe 3/4 of the spoon. And I will drop it in the sprayer. And then we need to mix this up. Give me 2 secs. So I got this very high tech mixer that I just made out of the wire. So because, you know, I need something that is quite narrow, because this is quite a narrow kind of entering. So, and I just mix it up. So I would stir it up. And then we can check what the TDS of this is. I don't always check the TDS. If I use the same amounts of fertilizer, then, you know, there is really no point in checking it every time. It's gonna be pretty much the same. So if I drop it in here, so this one is running to 225 parts per million. So that's pretty good. You know, I usually go like 200 to 250 parts per million. Sometimes I would also add other things in here. I would sometimes add maybe Epsom salts or CalMag or seaweed, but for this round I'll just leave it to just the rain mix. Just out of interest, we can check the pH of it as well. So this is quite low. 6 pH, that's quite low. I would usually like to kind of keep it between 6.3 to 6.5. I grow my orchids both organically and inorganically, so you know, I kind of want to keep the pH between 6.2 and 6.5. The issue is though, because this container is quite small, if I drop a pH up in here, or I actually don't use a pH up, I use the silicone, because silicone will you know, bring the pH up. But even if I drop here, you know, a couple drops, the pH goes up so much that then it's gonna be, you know, more towards 7. So, you know, I'm usually okay with just leaving it as it is. And that's it, our water is prepared. So I'll just put the lid on, the actual sprayer on, and we are ready to go. Okay, so I brought a couple examples here just to kind of show, but usually, you know, I wouldn't actually take them out of the shelves, and I can show you on the shelves as well how I do this, but I just wanted to kind of explain a little bit more than how I decide whether the orchid needs water or not, and, you know, how what is the fertilizer kind of needs for the orchid. So the first one, which is this big one here, this is my cherry baby, and look at those blooms. It's in full bloom right now. It's looking absolutely amazing. So I always you know, I show this now in every single one of my videos, because this is just it's just looking amazing. Okay, let's just go back down and have a look at the pot. So first of all, the tray here is totally empty. So let me take you in so you can see there is just a drop of water left in here. That pot is actually still got, you know, it is quite heavy. So I can feel that there is a lot of moisture in that pot. So I'm actually gonna skip it this time. I'm not gonna water it, and I want to let it dry out. The main reason for that is because I'm not actually really sure what kind of media is inside. I can't really see it, and I just recently got this orchid, so I didn't pot it in here. I can see some bark here. I think this pot is full of roots though, so we're gonna have to repot it soon. Once the blooms drop, I'm going to repot this orchid, so then we can have a look what's in there. But usually, you know, nurseries would keep orchids in more water retentive media because it just kind of makes it easier for them to look after them, whereas I try and pot it up into less water retentive media and rather water them more often. I find it's easier for me to control it that way. So that one we're gonna skip. Now, this one here, this is my Osteocledus Patellifera. It is actually a seedling, so it is a tiny orchid, but let me tell you, it drinks its water like there is no tomorrow. So that pot is pretty much totally dry. So I'm gonna get this watered. So I just go around with the sprayer. As you can see, I put it on this kind of stream setting so that I can get a lot of water in there. And I water until I not only see the water coming through, but there is also enough water in here that I can just leave, and then for the next couple days, you can see I've got microfiber as well in the pot, so it will wick the water up, and the top layer is now totally soaked, and I would leave that orchid be now for a couple days. Now this is my Tolumnia. This is Tolumnia Flyer Golden Fan, and this is totally empty as well. That one drinks its water pretty quickly too, and you can see there is loads of roots here going through the basket. It's a happy orchid. So I'm gonna water this orchid today, but not with this water, because as you can remember, this one has got 225 parts per million, which for Tolumnia I think is too high. So this is gonna get watered in the second round. So once this water here is almost finished up and it's about to here, I will just fill it up with water, which means that I will have a little bit here left with 225 parts per million. I will fill it up with fresh water, and it will dilute this fertilized water to something like maybe 50 parts per million. And then I will water this Tolumnia, because it doesn't like high fertilizer at all. The roots burn pretty quickly, so the Tolumnia doesn't get watered in this round, but it will still get watered today in the next round. Okay, so let's keep watering the orchid. So what I do, I would just lift this up slightly, and I can see, you know, there is still a lot of condensation here, but the pot itself is actually empty. So this is my Epidendrum keiki, so I will give it just a little bit of water, not too much, because this one is potted in moss, so moss is very water retentive, so I don't want to overdo it. And then my Angraecum olifolium, this one had no water here, so I will give it a lot of water. And yeah, and then I leave, you know, some of this water, whatever comes out just stays in this tray. I don't empty it at all. And then my Leptotes bicolor, so again I just give it a little bit of water and then let it soak up once the media dries. My Maxillaria sophronitis is very, very dry. It's got like 4 new growths here, so I need to be very careful when I water it now. Not that, you know, I still get water, you know, in the new growths, but because there are fans on every shelf, it's usually okay. This one drinks drinks this water, anything that is left in here, in a couple days. My other Angrecum, this is Angrecum dolii, is not looking very good, to be honest, so we'll see if we can sort this one out. And then my other Osteocledus Perrieri, again very, very dry, so we want to water this one. These Osteocledus orchids, they seem to kind of now stop growing, so they develop those biggest, those new growths, and now they're not really doing much. So I think from next watering onwards, I will start giving them the fertilizer which is less, you know, it's got less fertilizer in here, so basically in the second round. That's my Cattleya Orchid Queen. It's actually got a new growth at the front, so that one will definitely need fertilized water. It's got these beautiful aerial roots here, and you can see they've got nice green tips. I don't know why they always grow into the fan. It's like there is more moisture in the fan, you know. But yeah, let's give it a lot of water. And then my Neophynicia falcata Gojo Fukurin here at the back, if you can see it. So it's potted in a very tiny small basket, so it gets dry all the time as well. So I don't water a lot of it, you know, because I'm just wary that, you know, all this water is gonna go down, and I don't want the roots to be completely submerged in water as well. I just want water to be, you know, just at the bottom of the pot. I don't want it to be kind of halfway up or anything like that. So that's it, one shelf waters. How long did that take me? Maybe 2 minutes. So yeah, that's what I'm saying, you know, it really doesn't take much time at all to water these orchids. So I would go through my whole shelf, you know, water them with the first round, and then fill up my sprayer with fresh water, and just go through them again and water the ones that are that were left, you know, when we went through them this time. And that's it, you know. And yeah, as I say, it really doesn't take much time at all. It's very quick. I like watering my orchids often because, you know, it means they get this water replenishment more often. They can uptake more nutrients and things like that. So I quite like this method. You know, I think I save a lot of time. I can do it more often. So yeah, I really like it so far. So let me guys know what kind of methods you've got, you know, how you water your orchids. Do you have as well, you know, some kind of good quick method the way you do it, or, you know, do you like taking your time and watering your orchids, you know, even if it does take a lot of time? Do you enjoy it? Let me know in the comment section below. And yeah, I can't wait to speak to you guys, and thank you so much for watching. Please give a thumbs up for this video if you liked it, subscribe to my channel, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!